Hello, good evening, everyone. Wish you a very, very happy Teachers' Day to all.
Teachers Day.
Happy Teachers Day to
Hello.
everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello, Mukta ma'am. Hello, Sumida. Happy Teachers' Day to you.
Hello.
Hello, happy
Thank you.
Teachers Day.
Happy Teachers
Okay.
Day, everyone.
Happy Teachers' Day to our lovely audience. And today we are here once again back with our team for the most awaiting program which we had planned and as promised that we are going to launch our first episode of podcast, and that is what we are going to do today here with our special guest that will be announcing in some time now. So let me first introduce myself. I'm Ms. Panna Gandhi, the founder and leader of GEG Surat, a Google certified trainer, moat ambassador, Wakelet leader, Wakelet certified educator, and also a moat educator and Kemi educator as well. And yes, I am also in this education system since last 28 years, felicitating students, I would say, on this special day, felicitating, because we all as teachers, we know that we are the facilitators and not the teachers. We teach, we say we teach, but it's like we facilitate them. We are not teachers, we are facilitators. So on this day, I take the opportunity of being a proud teacher and talk about our teaching faculty, that we, it's a very noble profession for us, that we are so fortunate to deal with the future generation and mold them for the future generation in the way they want, for our growth of the Indian education system and even the society. So I feel so proud of myself that I'm a teacher here. So once again, welcome to our podcast, first episode of podcast. And now I would like to invite my other two leaders with me, Miss Sumida and Miss Muktamam. Muktamam, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Panna ma'am. Hello, everyone. Once again, a very happy Teachers Day to all the teachers and lovely audience. Yes, I am Mukta Sablok, founder and leader of GEG Ghaziabad, and I am a Google certified trainer. I am teaching computer science from past 25 years, definitely. Yes, and feel proud to be a teacher. And today's day, as Teachers' Day celebrated, we actually feel how privileged we are and how kids are loving us. That is actually today, like they show their love every day, but today especially they show, and that the same thing happened today with each one of us since morning. And again, thanks a lot for joining, and a happy Teachers Day. Over to you, Sumita.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Happy Teachers Day, dear audience. Thank you so much for joining us today for the launch of the first episode of our podcast by GEG Ghaziabad and GEG Surat. And I am very happy to tell you that this podcast is launched today in collaboration with another podcast that is already running, and I am the founder of that podcast, that is Edu Rockstar Talks podcast. So thank you to Panna ma'am and Mukta ma'am for this collaboration. And we are going to take the video podcasting for the first time with GEG Ghaziabad and GEG Surat. So that is also a new initiative for ourselves, that we have started with the first video podcasting with the Google Educators Group. So that makes us really, really proud, and we have chosen this special day, that is Teachers Day, for doing this, because we believe that not only teachers were eager to learn during the pandemic, but now also teacher wants to take the legacy forward, and whatever digital tools they have learned, whatever empoweredness they have got during the COVID time, they want to pursue it further, and they further want to nurture their own skills and the skills of their learner, And for that, we are always there to lend our support. We are always there to help our teachers. So, with this podcasting, we are planning to invite various guests from different field of education who will be apprising us, guiding us, mentoring us, inspiring the educators on different themes. And the audience will have the privilege to ask their questions, which they have, their queries, and they are going to learn in a different way. That not only every time we have to learn only about the educational tools, but sometimes we have various queries regarding the pedagogy, what kind of assessments we should use in the classroom, what kind of innovative practices we can adopt. So, all these questions we will be answering in the different podcast episodes that we will be having, and different experts we will be inviting on our video podcasting who will help you to become a better educator. And that is why we thought that Teachers Day will be the best day to launch this, because we all are having the same mission, that is to nurture the global citizens and to make the citizens of our country good human beings, and they are concerned for the society, who think for the development of the nation. And keeping in mind the new education policy, all the endeavors, all the kind of objectives and mission that our policy is looking for, we as educators also have a big role that we have to play. It's not only the government, but rather educators in the classroom who are molding the children like a artist, like a sculpturist. Every day in the classroom we have a bigger role to play in the new education policy, and that makes our role very very important. So that is why we have come up with this idea, and we are very very happy that you all have taken out time from your precious schedule to join us for our podcasting launch, and to hear us from the guest speaker what she has to say on Teachers Day occasion. And the theme for today's episode is role of teachers beyond teaching, because we know that teachers' role is more important apart from teaching in the classroom. Because there is no doubt that being a teacher is a noble profession that deserves an equal amount of love and respect as any other profession. Teachers' Day in India is celebrated every year on 5th of September to mark the birth anniversary of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, who was the former president of India and the first president of India, the scholar. He was a philosopher, and also he was the recipient of Bharat Ratna Award. And on Teachers' Day every year, the entire country pay respect to their teachers on this particular occasion, and it is the reminder to our society that what role does the teachers play in nation building by guiding and educating the brightest minds of our country. So this day is very very special to all of us, and for making it more special, we thought that let us start with the video podcasting for our dear audience. And as you already know, all of you already know me, but I would like to introduce myself. I am Dr. Sumedha Soti, and I am the co-founder or the co-leader of GEG Ghaziabad, and also am an edtech enthusiast. I love technology. I am heading the social science department at Elgon International School, Delhi, Mayur Vihar, and together as a Google Educator group with GEG Surat and GEG Ghaziabad, we collaborate together to bring you the best guidance and best inspiration that we can bring to make you all empowered, to make you all feel that you are the ones who are going to build the nation in the future. So, with this positive note, we would like to apprise you with the guest speaker today, that who she is and in which field she is working, what kind of good work she is doing. She will be joining us shortly due to some personal emergencies. She is not able to join us, but very soon she will be among us. By the time, I will request Panna ma'am to kindly tell our audience about our guest speaker today. Over to you, Panna ma'am.
Thank you, Sumedha, for such a lovely words regarding Teachers' Day today. And yes, definitely, as you said, that we all are so enthusiastic, even like you. I too love all edtech tools and teach whatever skills and knowledge I have to my lovely audience and my co fellow teachers, my colleagues, and everyone, whoever, my teacher and entire teacher community or teaching faculties, because I feel that sharing is caring, and that is what on this auspicious day, on this special day, I feel that how we have started to invite a special guest, Miss Vasundhra Kaul. Really, she is an amazing person. I would be introducing here, but before that, I would really like to share that this Teachers' Day is really special for all of us. And as we say that we are always coming up with new ideas, new tech tools, and new whatever new sharings we have, which is beneficial for our teaching faculties, that we always come ahead and come try to facilitate them, try to enhance their knowledge and skills in the way whatever way we can. So I would really like to ask even audience, if they are able to like they want to know something more about any of the tech tools, they can always approach us, they can write in the comments, or they can message us even in person, and we will really look forward to take those opportunities of your choices, that we can call special guests or invite or keep such sessions which are really on your demand and helpful to you. So I really appreciate all the audience for taking your special time and joining us today on this auspicious day. Now, I really would like to ask Mukta ma'am, as she is an IT uh, teacher, IT leader. So, Mukta ma'am, how do you feel about Teachers' Day? As you said that you had organized a Teachers' Day in your school, how was the experience today?
Great. It was a great experience working with the kids, moving like keeping in mind the management perspective also, and working with them, moving alone. Like as a teacher, I was alone heading them. Students wants to do so much for the teachers, that was really thing. But as if I have to guide them, so making that thing perspective also, making that time duration also in mind, like they were, ma'am, this also we can do, this also we can do, and they were like, it was amazing, it was amazing. From past 10-15 days, like it passed on, and every bit like they were asking me, ma'am, this we will do, this ma'am we will do, this no ma'am, this is. So the experience was wonderful, and I really thanks my principal ma'am, who has given me this opportunity to work and organize Teachers' Day function, and everybody liked it. And they really enjoyed the function today.
Oh, that's
Sumedha ma'am, how
great.
was your experience today?
Yeah, so we also had a day full of celebrations at school. It started with the fun games for teachers, and you will be really glad to know that we had a very, very good activities planned by the students. We had fashion show to be done by the teachers, starting with the day, and all the teachers were walking on the ramp like models, and children were really enjoying it. And then after that, we also had the function in the auditorium where children had shown their performances, like they had the musical rendition, and there was a dance finale by the students. There was a antakshari planned for the teachers. The different teams were there, and teachers played antakshari. So yes, I can say overall it was a day filled with joy, happiness, lot of roses, red roses for teachers, cards for teachers, red
Definitely.
pen for teachers. So we don't have to now buy, I think, a red pen for the entire year. That much of stock we have got today, and chocolates. So we were feeling very special that yes, our children love us a lot every
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
whether they say or not. But today, everyone, not even a single child was there who was not expressing their gesture for what kind of this thinking and what kind of respect they have for their teachers. So it was really great to know that even in this 21st century, where we are feeling that children are having and some of the social emotional skills, but they are so attached to the teachers, their gurus, and they were paying respect to the teachers. That was really, really awesome. A very, very
Yeah,
nice experience. And even though we came back late, but so I think all our three faces are shining and brimming with happiness. So it means that
definitely.
although it was a very hectic day, but due to our children, due to their smiles, we are fresh again to serve our community of educators, and not at all we are feeling tired that we had the celebration and a long day. So that itself is a testimony that how beautiful our day was. I think it's same feeling for every educator who is listening to us right now.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
For me also today it was a power-packed day and with full of enthusiasm. And especially when you see, like I'm taking K-12 and grade 12 students. So when you see those children coming up, becoming teachers and performing as teachers and expressing their gestures for you and the entire teaching community, you feel really proud. They were like, we were overwhelmed with their words. And when they express that, ma'am, really we know now today that how you every day carry us with so much care. And no matter, sometimes we get annoyed, we get angry, but still, apart from everything, you think of us first and then the rest, no matter we like or not. But then whenever it's time to scold us, you do that. Whenever it's time to pamper us, you do that. You take every opportunity to um, pamper us or scold us or whatever it is. Like you are like our next mothers. So that was really heart touching and overwhelming, that so much of feelings they have really for us. So it was really great to have such words and all those red roses, as you said, and red pens and chocolates full of. The day was really wonderful.
So
I
yeah, Panam, by the time our guest is arriving, I would like to have a small quiz since it is Teachers' Day. So I would like to
yeah,
ask few
definitely.
questions to our
Yes, ma'am.
audience and also to both of you if you would like to also participate. So I would like to start with my first question. Let us just check our understanding about this special day and how well aware we are about this Teachers' Day. So shall we start with the quiz?
Yeah,
Are
sure,
you
ma'am.
both ready? Panna ma'am and
Ready?
Mukta ma'am. And our
Ready,
audience
ready.
Yes,
is also
yes.
ready. Well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
they are
So my
also ready.
ask the
yeah,
audience, and we also will be involved in
yes.
that.
Yeah, so my first question to our audience is that since when we are celebrating Teachers' Day? If anybody can guess the year, that in which year we started celebrating Teachers' Day, I would like to know the year. So anybody from the audience would like to give this answer? In which year we started celebrating Teachers' Day?
Yes,
Or
audience.
Panna ma'am, Mukta ma'am, you can also give the answer.
Sorry, I
I
was.
guess we started celebrating this Teachers' Day, I think, since 1972, as
No,
far as
you
my
are
knowledge.
little bit you are close. We actually
Okay.
started the celebrations in 1962. So that is
Six.
the
Yeah,
correct.
62. 62. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
1962 was
62.
the year when we actually started with the celebrations of Teachers' Day.
Hmm.
So great try, well done, Panna ma'am. Good attempt.
Thank you.
Now, my next question to our audience is that how did Teachers' Day originate? So here, let me give some options also. You can guess by that it is the birthday of which renowned Indian leader that we started celebrating Teachers' Day. So this is a very, very simple question. Answer was already given by me in my speech.
Dr.
Just
Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan.
Mukta ma'am got it right. Very nice.
Okay, so here I would like something to add on, as I have helped students to prepare the script of today's program.
Yes,
So
yes,
I have
definitely.
something. So it is basically that when some students of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan went and they asked sir that we want to celebrate your birthday. It was his birthday, and his students went to him with a cake or whatever things were there and say that, sir, we want to celebrate your birthday. At that point of time, one day, one like the year Sumita has already mentioned, he has announced that instead of celebrating my birthday, I would request everybody and I would be very glad if this day would be remembered as Teachers' Day, so that every teacher will be recognized on this day. This is how Teachers' Day started.
Yes, very good. Thank you so much, Mukta ma'am, for sharing
Thank you.
this fact with everyone. It really makes us proud that our existence as a teacher is not a simple thing. It is a great profession that we have entered into, and it is our role to make it and to uphold the greatness of this profession. Thank you so much. Now, my third question to our dear audience is that which of the following statements are correct about Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan? So, I'm going to say a few statements about him. Some facts already Mukta ma'am have told us. So, my first one is that he became the first vice president of India and he was elected to the Constituent Assembly of India. This is the first fact about him. Second one, in 1954, he was awarded with Bharat Ratna. And the third fact about him is he received the Peace Prize of the German book trade in 1961. So these are three statements about him. And now I would like to ask dear audience that if you think all these statements are correct about Dr. Radhakrishnan, you can just hit the correct button or you can just type in the chat box all are correct. If you think the first one is correct, only when he became the vice president of India and he was selected to constituent assembly, you can type in 1. If you think only the second one is correct, that in 1954 he was awarded with Bharat Ratna, you can type in number 2. If you think that only the third one is correct, that he received the Peace Prize of German Book Trade in 1961, then you can press the number 3 button. But if you think all one, 2, 3 are correct, so you can type in the chat box all correct. So let me see what is your knowledge about Dr. Radhakrishnan, and I can see Meena ma'am has given the right
Meena.
answer. She has written all of these are correct, and that is the correct answer. Thank you, Meena ma'am,
Thank
for
you, Meena ma'am.
giving the answer to this question. And we are really happy that you are actively participating in this quiz. And even though you must also have a very hectic day, but you plan to join us for our podcast, thank you so much. Really kind of you. Now, my next question to everyone is on the occasion of Teachers' Day, who said this quote? I'm going to say one quote. Teaching is not a profession, it is a way of life. So, who said this quote? And going to give some options also to make it a little bit easier for all of you to guess. Is this statement said by Dr. Radhakrishnan or by Swami Vivekanand or by Gulzari Lal Nanda or our present Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi? So these are the four options, and you have to guess which one is correct. Who said this line? Teaching is not a profession, it is a way of life. So I'm waiting for the audience
Yeah,
to
let's
give
wait
this.
for the audience. Yeah. Let's wait for
Yes.
the audience.
Is it a statement? Is this quote said by Dr. Radhakrishnan or by Swami Vivekanand ji, or by Gulzari Lal Nanda ji, or by our present Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. So we are getting many options. Meena ma'am is saying it is by Gulzari Lal Nanda ji, and Mr. Jianshu Kaushik is also participating. He is saying this quote is said by Swami Vivekanand. Mukta ma'am, would you also like to try and give your answer to this question?
Not aware.
No,
Sorry.
Panna
uh,
ma'am, would you like to
I
try?
guess, yeah, I guess it is Swami Vivekanand.
Okay. So all of you gave the wrong answer. There, everyone gets a
Oh.
zero. So this quote is very famous quote given by our present Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. So he said in one
Oh,
of his speeches that teaching is not a profession; it is a way of life. So we all must be proud that we are living a life where we are already into this profession. We don't have to practice it separately, so that makes us really our existence a great one. Now,
wonderful.
another question I have for our audience is that when did Dr. Radha Krishnan, in which year he became the president of India? In which year Dr. Radha Krishnan became the president of India? And I can give you one hint also. It is the same year when we started celebrating Teachers' Day.
So that was that's a easy one.
Yeah,
That's the easy one. Now I have already given the hint also.
yeah, 1962.
Yeah.
1962.
Yeah.
It's
So both of you got
1962.
the right answer. It is
But Sumita
1962.
ma'am, Sumita ma'am, this is very wrong. Meena ma'am has given us also the right
Yeah.
answer. But
Yeah.
Oh,
you are
great, great.
asking, this is very wrong that you are an SST teacher, social studies teachers, and you are asking all the questions of social studies.
Related to
This is
social
very
science.
wrong.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
my
very
this is
wrong.
my subject now, so that is why I have all questions and answers related to general awareness and social
Hmm,
science in my dictionary. I can say.
I understood.
Okay, so
So both of
since
the
we,
our audience, two audience have given us the right answer. Meena Rai
yeah,
ma'am
very good.
and
Thank
Janshu.
you. Thank you for participating. And since we are waiting for our guest, I have a few more questions. By the time ma'am is joining us, let us
Yeah.
continue with the quiz.
Uh, the audience, actually, she is really apologizing. She is stuck up in rain and traffic. She'll be soon joining us. Please have patience. I am really very sorry for our audience keeping waiting. But yes, I appreciate Sumedha ma'am to continue with the quiz. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So now the next question for our audience is that in 1931, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan became the Vice Chancellor of which university? So he was a teacher, he was a teacher professor, and he worked in many universities. So I would like to know from our audience that in 1931, he became the Vice Chancellor of which university? And maybe I can give you some options since nowadays people are talking about a lot of multiple choice question and competency based learning, so we should give choices to our students. So I will also give some choices to our participants. So first choice is Mysore. Is it Mysore University, or is it Karnataka University, or is it Andhra University? So out of these three, you have to choose that in 1931, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan became the Vice Chancellor of which university? So let us see what our audience wants to say. And I can see Vasundhra ma'am is also here. She's also
Yes, ma'am.
joining us. Good
Yes,
evening.
yes.
Good evening,
Good
ma'am.
evening. Happy Teachers' Day to everyone.
Happy
Happy Teachers
Teachers
Day,
Day,
Good
ma'am.
ma'am.
evening, ma'am.
Yes, yeah, we are so
Good evening.
glad that you are here with us for our podcast show.
Thank you.
So,
I'm so
ma'am,
sorry for the delay, but yes.
no worries, ma'am. Sumida, ma'am, please continue with the question, and then I'll
Yeah,
just
so
introduce the answer.
Vasundhara ma'am, since there was some delay in your joining, so we were conducting one quiz on Teachers' Day with
Sure, sure.
our audience. And this last question I had just put up that in 1931, Dr. Radhakrishnan became the Vice Chancellor of which university? So our audience, Mr. Jianshu, has given the right answer. It is Andhra University. So congratulations, Mr. Jianshu. Thank you for participating. That is the correct answer. And now, since ma'am is there with us, we would like to start our podcast show and with the introduction about our guests. So, Panna ma'am, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So I am really very glad and take this opportunity to invite our special guest on this special day. She is Miss Vasundhra Kaul, the founding partner and Carpe Diem at Consultancy LLP, Regional Head West and South. She is the founding partner and also works with individuals and organizations to support well-being for all the stakeholders. She is a trainer and mental health practitioner with 16 plus years of rich work experience across various sectors and educational institutions of various geographies like India and UAE, that is Dubai, Sharjah, etc. Passionate. She is a wonderful educator as well as a passionate about empowering people to communicate better, be future skill ready, and improve well-being. She has curated programs for children to adult populations. Her research interest includes pedagogy, curriculum, and continuous professional development, and therefore she is the happiest while conducting workshops and blended courses for teachers. Oh my God, ma'am. So many things about her to say. I'm really, really very proud of it to invite her here today. She believes that learning must never stop for an educator, and she practices what she preaches. She is an AMID gold medalist and MBA marketing and finance. Additional qualification includes net education, anything that is net education, master trainer of European International University, neuro linguistic programming, business practitioner, well-being and career coach, and she is also certified in arts and science of coaching. Then she is ICPEM diploma in counseling, master trainer teaching and training and developing professionals, training qualifications taken from UK. She is postgraduate diploma in special education needs, that is ADHD and LD and autism, and certificate in teaching gifted and talented children. I'm sorry. She is also has a postgraduate certificate in digital marketing, and she is currently pursuing her PhD from the Department of Education, Mumbai University. Wonderful and such a long introduction about yours, ma'am. We are really very glad to have you here. So, welcome once again from GEG Ghaziabad and Surat. And along with this, I would
Thank
like to ask you our first question. That is, like, you can kindly let us know something more about you and your work.
So thank you so much, Panna ma'am. So sometimes when your introduction is read out, you yourself forget how much you've been studying all these years. So, like my son jokes, saying, "Mama, I'm in the eighth standard, but you seem to be in 23." So, but I think as a teacher, as an educator, one never stops learning, right? So that's been, something that has been true to my family, and I'm the fourth generation of an educator, right from someone being teaching pre-primary, someone teaching college. My own grandmother, she completed her B.Ed after she got married, had three children. So we're a family of educators. I think it kind of runs in the family, that somewhere down the line, either you're a professionally qualified educator, or you may be a home based education
I think there is some technical glitch that ma'am has left the meeting. So let us wait for her. She must be joining soon.
seems to be something grossly wrong with my network today. It's raining very heavily actually. So yeah. So that's who we are, and about my work, Carpe started, in its birth in terms of the story many years ago. I think for many years one has visualized that one wants an organization which can work with educators, can work with children, can work with schools. Of course, in its current form, we are exactly a year old. 31st of July we completed a year, but in the space, of course, for many years. Thank you so much. So that's about us and that's about me, if I heard your
Thank you so
question
much.
correct.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. And since you just now said that you are the fourth generation in your family who is into teaching, so that really gives us the goosebumps that you are still following your ancestral path. So my question to you is that we would also like to know that who do you owe your success to, and which first guru do you still remember in your life as an educator? This is my question to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sumedha ma'am. I think, this is one of my favorite questions to answer because my first guru, in fact, is one of my most favorite people in this world. And I still feel she's still with me, even though my Nani, passed away many years ago. But like I told you a little while earlier, she educated herself. She completed her B.Ed after, giving birth to three children, after being married for many years. And everything as an educator, my entire thought process from a family standpoint comes from my Nani. Her last assignment was with the Lawrence School, Sanar, as senior mistress, and teaching geography. And she would not only teach geography, she would dance, she would sing, she would direct play, she would do everything that she could do. So I think that she remains my initial guru. And if you were to talk about, of course, my own academic journey, I think there have been many, some of my gurus now are on advisory board for Kapadium, because we wanted to go back to our gurus. So there is Dr. Anirban Sen Gupta, who's the dean of Modi University. He heads an all-women's university. So he's on our advisory board. There's Dr. Sunita Vadekar, who was my principal at my B.Ed college, and many others, of course, if I were to say so. So, Sumedha ma'am, thank you for that question.
So one extra question I would like to ask you about your organization, Carpedium. That what exactly this
Yes.
organization is all about. Now I am curious to ask you more questions.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, and I'll be more than happy to tell you. So, when we kind of started working in the field of mental well-being and mental health, and we were working for various other organizations as employees, all along, I think for all the four partners, we worked together professionally, freelance, otherwise as well. But when we thought that what would our organization look like, I think the one common thread that came in everyone's answer was the fact that, as teachers, as parents, as educators, if you require support, in the classroom, outside the classroom, for special needs, for inclusion, for diversity, for mental health in general, you should not have to run to 5 different places, 10 different places. There should be a single platform where you should be able to go and talk about your own mental well-being as teachers. And if you want to get trained to manage the mental well-being of your students, you should be able to do that. If you are a parent and you want to manage the mental well-being of your students, and you yourself as a parent, you should not have to run to 30 different places, to 30 different people. And if one is you will run if you feel the need to. So it also starts with advocacy and awareness, right? If you so at the stem of it, carpe diem is about, the meaning of carpe diem is seizing the day. So that's where our story starts off, saying, can you take control of every day, every minute of your life, to make it better for yourself and make it better for someone else? That's the essence. In terms of services, we offer everything from career assessment to career counseling to individual therapy to music therapy or speech and language therapy, and also a lot of training, workshops and things like that. So, and the closest to our heart is, of course, doing a lot of research with academicians, with practitioners, and publishing, because we get so busy in our work that I think we forget to put it back into literature.
Yeah.
And it's important that what works for us should work for someone else as well. So if we
True.
put it back, someone will read it, someone will read that idea, and maybe it helps them a little bit. So I think that's who we are and what we aim to do.
Wow, that's really an inspiring journey, and now we understood better, and our audience also understood better that what your organization do, and if they need any help regarding the mental health issues of not only your students but also the teachers around you, the colleagues in your school, or maybe the parents, because I think all the stakeholders are important in the child's
Absolutely.
journey, not only one. If all the four stakeholders join hands and collaboratively raise the children, then definitely the holistic development is going to happen. So, thank you,
Yeah,
Vasundhara ma'am. It was a
Absolutely.
really nice introduction
yeah.
given by you.
Yeah, that was really true, ma'am.
My pleasure.
Speaking about special needs and mental health being about everyone, especially the children, and what the work you are, amazing work you're doing, it's really appreciable. So we are feeling so proud that you are here with us, sharing your expertise and addressing our audience on our first day, first episode podcast launch. So my next question to you would be like, how has the COVID-19 pandemic transformed the role of teachers for you?
I think, with every adversity comes an opportunity, you know.
True.
So, am I audible?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah. So I think we've always looked at it as, something that taught us all how much we were capable of doing. I don't think before the COVID pandemic, any of us imagined that we would, be take. Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yes, I think our guest is having some technical glitch. She will be soon back. So really, Panna ma'am and Mukta ma'am, it is really inspiring to know the great
Yeah,
work which the educators and people are doing in our country, not only in the
true,
field
true.
of education, but also mental health. So I think ma'am is back
Yeah,
with us. Yes, ma'am, over to you.
yes, ma'am. So I would like
Sorry,
to
I'm so
repeat
sorry.
my, no issues, ma'am. I would like to repeat my question. So
Yeah.
my question was,
Yes,
how has
please.
the COVID pandemic transformed the role of teachers, according to you?
So I think, like is the case of all adversity. हम लोग सब मुश्किलों से कुछ ना कुछ सीखते हैं ना. So it kind of
सही है.
pushes us beyond all boundaries, tells us what we are worthy of doing. I don't think before the pandemic any of us realized what we were capable of doing. We were in a status quo scenario, and we said we are doing the best job possible. We are all passionate teachers, and therefore at our heart we always want the best for our students. But I think what COVID also made us realize that here is an opportunity to make it even better. And also, you do not have to do it alone. So as a teacher, you realize that the computer sitting in front of you, the Gmail account, the Google Baba, the whatever, your Mentimeter, your Padlet, all of those can be partners to the learning. And if only you were to open your eyes and ears and see and learn. And I think, with GG, of course, I see the smiles on all your faces, because I think you've played a big role in trying to push people to learn more, to be interested, to try and you realize that, oh, if it's so interesting for me, how much more interesting will it be for the student? So I think we are moving closer in the realization that for the future jobs, for the future roles that students need to play, they actually don't need to know the answers of questions. They need to know what questions to ask, because Google will give
Exactly.
them the answers or someone else will give them the answers, right? So if I know what questions I can ask, if I know what is the question, how do I frame it, the answer is going to come one way or the other. So as a teacher, I think encourage your children to ask questions, and that's your role today. Teach them how to ask the right set of questions. Answers तो मिल जाते हैं,
Yeah,
क्वेश्चन
Same.
पूछना नहीं आता है.
definitely. And that
Definitely.
you have already, yeah, ma'am has already answered my next question, which I was supposed to ask you. That what role do you think teachers play in the life of a student beyond teaching? And one answer you have already given, that we have to teach them the art, that what is the how, not the why of that. Okay, so
Absolutely.
anything else would you like to add to this question, that what is our role beyond teaching, since you are a mental health expert, so you can guide our audience today, that apart from teaching their curriculum, what beyond teaching the role they play in their life?
So, one of my favorite questions again, Sumita ma'am, you tend to be asking me things I like to answer. So, the thing is that typically when one is doing workshops and one is discussing pedagogies and things like that. 9 out of 10 cases may, if there are 50 people sitting in a workshop, one person will say, ma'am, all this pedagogy is nice, but how do I finish the syllabus? you know how do I finish what is there in the curriculum? And I actually turned around and asked them, I said, how many of you studied cover to cover, sentence by sentence, when you were students? हम लोग सब selective study करते थे. So why is it that it is such a problem when our students are wanting to do the same thing, right? Now, to answer your question more specifically, at the end of the day, with computers, with technology coming in, there's so much that our children learn on their own, right? So my son, who's in the 8th standard now, every day he's seen some new YouTube video and giving me some nugget of information. So as a teacher, can I be a listener? Can I be an active listener? Can I not preempt their question before I'm listening to their question? Would be my point number one, right? Because are you trying to ensure that your children understand that yes, there is someone who's interested in my ideas, there's someone who's going to pay attention to my ideas, because that's such a large portion of who we are and anyone's well-being is na. कोई सुनने वाला मिल जाता है, like you ask all the wives, you ask all the husbands, each of us will be complaining about each other that the other person is not listening to us. But that's the biggest want you have as a human being, right? Can someone listen to me? So, can the teacher listen? And of course, as part of whatever she might be teaching, whether she's teaching maths or she's teaching physics or she's teaching geography or she's teaching in international business, she may be teaching anything. Can I link it and make it as real world to the child so that the child is socially aware, is a citizen of the world and not just your classroom? So the social emotional learning, which I think we all talk about, but my thing in that is that again, don't leave social emotional learning as a definition. Definition though all teachers know. Are you actually implementing it as part of your lesson plans? Are you making it an everyday activity? That is the critical thing to think about. As soon as you make your lesson plan, figure out whether you have incorporated a component where the child is going to be able to communicate with one other person in the classroom, will come up with one new idea on that day. Have you provided those opportunities? Is what I'll ask all teachers to ask themselves.
Yeah. Thank you very much for this wonderful answer, ma'am. And really, as you said, it's a really big question for us also to think back that are we really implementing it, and how well we are implementing it in our classroom, and how much we are giving the student agency. That is what next comes in my mind. Then how much we are giving that agency to the students, that what they want to learn. Are we giving them the platform? Are we providing them the right thing? So wonderful answers, ma'am. And this again puts me to ask you the next question. That is, what inspired you to become a teacher and do so much to change the lives of students? So, who was your inspiration to become a teacher? I think you had already answered in the beginning that your nani was. Apart from, what else inspired you to do so?
To become an educator,
Yeah,
I think the fact that the I call my son my lucky charm. I think so. You don't know this part of my journey, and I've not shared it so far. I started off as a banker. So I did banking as part of the first part of my career, and but because I followed my father's footsteps, and somewhere I think I got drawn down to being an educator when I took a sabbatical when my son was 1.5 years old. So when I had that 1 year sabbatical, and I was actually thinking through as to what I should do. I did a lot of freelance work, visiting faculty work, and things like that. And I realized that every single student, and there were people from that group that even wish, call up these days. And in the morning also, I got a few Happy Teachers Day messages from that first batch. And I think that first batch was the reason why I decided that, okay, I finally arrived where I wanted to be. So those set of students whom I taught when I was a novice teacher, who tolerated me at that time, when I may not have been so good. I don't even say that I know everything today, but most definitely 12, 13 years ago, I was definitely not as experienced or whatever. So I think everyone who tolerated me at that time, everyone who loved me at that time, and children are very giving in general. If they had the patience at that time, I think that's what counted the most.
yeah, wonderful, ma'am. Thank you very much for your
Wonderful.
wonderful answer. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we are getting so inspired from the each answer that you are giving, and since you are a educator who is more into mental well-being, so one question I would like to ask you, ma'am, here, that how can the teachers implement the principle of Maslow before the Bloom's? Bloom's taxonomy is very, very dear to teacher, especially while framing the learning objectives and the question paper framing. But how does the Maslow's
Absolutely.
the hierarchy is more important in today's world? Please apprise to our audience here.
Absolutely. So the thing is that I think I love the Bloom's taxonomy as well. It gives you a lot of structure to do your learning objectives. But the fact of the matter is, coming back to that previous answer, saying, what are you actually trying to teach the children, right? Are you trying to teach them daffodils by William Wordsworth, or are you trying to teach them carry over numerics, or are you trying to teach them trigonometry, which they possibly will learn from other places? Okay. Also, what is changing in the social system is that when you and I maybe were children, we were part of joint family setups, right? We had a lot of human to human connect interaction as younger children, with nuclear families, with families in where different parts of the family are in different parts of the country or the world. I think that human to human connection is something that students require, and unless they are, able to get that support system. Okay, unless they get that support system within the classroom environment, they will not be able to, study. So we have this partner. She's a professor from the Harvard, Dr. Sia Sheldon. If you want to look her up on LinkedIn, and she talks about this concept of cognitive bandwidth. And the entire concept of cognitive bandwidth says that, your environment, if it doesn't take care of the roti kapda makan, your social emotional side, there is no way any learning can happen in the classroom. So you first have to see whether your child is emotionally supported, emotionally grounded, and only then will you be able to take care of any of the learning. So definitely the Maslow has to come before your learning objectives. Has the environment been set up?
Yeah, wonderful,
Yes,
wonderful answer,
indeed.
ma'am. Really. And as you said, truly, like Bloom's, we always follow. Sorry. But as you said, yes, Maslow definitely comes first. So, related to this, now next question I would like to ask you is, how were you? able to go beyond teaching and connect with your students?
Sorry, Parna ma'am, I'll have to
Uh, uh,
request you
uh,
to repeat that question for me.
yes, yeah, definitely, ma'am. I'll repeat my question. My question is, how were you able to go beyond teaching and connect with your students? You have covered a lot journey. You have been teaching all the kinds of students, special needs children. So how will you be able to go beyond teaching and connect with your students? What was that moment where you started connecting with them? Hello.
I think she has lost the
So,
connection due to
I
this
guess, I
having
guess.
been in her hometown.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah,
are
yeah.
some issues with the connectivity. So, ma'am will be joining soon with all of us. So, Panna ma'am, very nice question you have asked, ma'am, that how she was able to connect with her students and how she was able to bring Maslow's principle into her classroom. As a teacher, I think it's very important that apart from thinking about the needs that we always think about the student, that we have to develop their understanding skill, we have to develop our the application skills. It is very very important to also work on the the you can say the self needs of the child, or the hierarchy, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which
Yeah,
ma'am was
making,
just
yeah,
explaining to all of us. So all those who are not aware of these needs, by the time our guest is joining, I would like to tell you that what are these Maslow's needs. So if we talk about the needs, like the psychological needs of the child, in terms of air, water, food, shelter, sleep, the safety need of the child, the love, the belonging, the esteem. So these are the psychological needs and the Maslow's needs that ma'am was referring to. So I can see ma'am just joined. So by the time she is there, I can also tell you about various needs, like self actualization needs, why they are important, the desire to become the most that one can become. So these are the needs which the Maslow has referred to. So ma'am is there with us again. Over to you, ma'am. The question which Panna ma'am just asked you, I would like to repeat for you, that how were you able to go beyond teaching and connect with your students in terms of the Maslow's needs? We would like to hear your experience and your journey.
expertise. Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you, Sumedha ma'am, and I'm really apologetic about the network today. I don't know how I can do anything better, but I think that's Murphy's law, right? When things have to go wrong, everything goes wrong. So I think with me and my personal journey with my students has always so I'm more of a adolescent and higher ed person. I am more patient with that, so I'll be very honest. I have a tremendous amount of respect for everyone who's teaching the pre-primary and primary, because there's so much of patience that you need in the younger age group, and so much more of the emotional connect. Of course, I wouldn't say more, but a very different kind of patience level that is required. Having said that, I'll talk about the age groups that I teach. So I teach, of course, the older population, and for them, I think the amount you can communicate with them, and the amount you can ensure that they are in a safe environment to learn, and allowing them that freedom to share, right? So that freedom to be able to share, the freedom to be able to communicate with each other, I think that's been my learning and my ability to contribute back to the classroom. So creating
Great.
opportunities, because a large portion of my teaching is interactive. I cannot bear it to be a one way traffic, and I think that's what connects with the students these days, where they get to raise their voices. So if they get to speak, if they get to share, I think that's where Maslow starts for them. It's their classroom more than mine.
yeah,
Yes,
great,
ma'am,
great, ma'am.
definitely.
So, can you share one of your strategies with the audience, with us, what we can also make use of it in our classroom if we can?
So
Any one of your strategies?
Yes, so so children study. I'll give you a study skill strategy that works very well. It works, and it worked like last week for me as well. That typically, students these days either ways don't like the concept of memorizing, and when there are lots of concepts that they have to study together, it kind of totally puts them into a disarray. So two things that I use a lot. One is I use a lot of graphic organizers and mind mapping, both online and offline. So I use that a lot, and you'll say, "Oh, that is a pedagogy that we use. That is not so related to social emotional learning." Not so much. Graphic organizers is one of the best strategies that you can use with children of all diverse populations, whether neurotypical development or otherwise, because it takes care of your visual, kinesthetic, auditory, all forms of learning, and then you can tweak it around to make it work the way you want to. Right. So if that is used, the child at least gets that thing that, okay, I got this much of the content. I'm not bogged down with a whole lot, and I will do it step at a time. So which is what works for me a lot. And something else that works for me also is and I see it working for my students as well, is the use of anagrams and short forms as memory techniques. So that aids them a lot. So just that day I was teaching the bachelor's of vocational studies, and I was in class doing a concept in event management. So one way is that you can do it slide by slide and PPT by PPT, but we actually called it the glass board sales. Right. So the glass board sales was an acronym which we created ourselves for what you should do pre-event, what you should do during the event, and what you should do after the event. And they came up and said, "Oh, ma'am, now we don't have to study for the exam. Unit 2 ho gaya." So that expression is an expression that I think works, because that confidence that you can give them, that it's possible to do.
Yeah,
This is possible to do, no matter how good, bad, very bad. I may be in a very terrible situation emotionally, but if I get that little motivation, I am able to then put that to my learning as well.
yeah, great, great, ma'am.
Yeah,
Really, as
great,
you said,
amazing.
yeah, amazing. This graphic organizers, as you said, really they really work very well. All
Oh, they
visual
work very well.
thinking, yeah, visual thinking aids are really wonderful for all age groups, because
Yes,
they are so helpful that they get the opportunity to put their own ideas in them, and we
correct.
also get to know each one of their ideas with those thinking routines. Really amazing.
And
So
sometimes you'll be surprised with what they come up with. Once you get
yeah,
them to do
really,
it themselves, you'll be surprised with what they can come up with.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
definitely, ma'am. So, last question I would like to ask Vasundhara ma'am, that with all the beautiful and amazing work you are doing, kindly tell our audience that how can they connect with you and your organization, Carpe Diem, if they have any such mental health issues into the classroom, how can they contact you? Kindly apprise our audience about your contact information.
Yeah, thank you so much, Savita ma'am and Panna ma'am, for that opportunity. I was just happy to be here when Panna ma'am said that will you be part of this. Deeply apologetic to the audience and to you for the lack of internet that I've had. I did try and plan to be in a stable location, but couldn't help it. But I'm glad I made it. And also thank you so much for the opportunity of being able to share about Carpedium. So anyone who wants to know more about us, there is a full-fledged website called consultcarpedium.com. You can go onto the website. There are ways to connect with us there. And of course, we have social media pages on all social media platforms, which is the LinkedIn, the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you DM us there, we will be more than happy to touch base and then see what we do for you. Something that Carpedium thrives on is a customized solution for every person. So whether an individual comes to us or an organization comes to us, we start from a needs analysis and then go all the way upwards to a solution. So we'll be more than happy to interact with as many number of people who reach out. And of course, congratulations to the GEG team and all the GEG, whether it's Ghaziabad or Surat, and I see a couple of other names as well, to making this happen.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank
Thank
you,
you so much,
ma'am.
ma'am. and you are
Thanks
definitely
a
an
lot, ma'am.
audio rock star. Thank you for joining us today. It was really awesome to talk to you, and you have opened many more out of the box ideas for us also, since we are three of us are educators in K-12 schooling. So you have given us lot of good ideas, and I think on Teachers Day, especially listening to you was very, very enlightening and very, very
True,
auspicious.
true.
It was just like that you are listening to Dr. Radhakrishnan only and getting all the learnings from him. So really grateful, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today on this
Thank you,
Thank
podcast.
you
sis.
very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. You are all very, very kind, but I think we all learn from each other. Today I learned how to work in adversity. I learned that okay, even if internet doesn't work, there's a life that exists, and there's so much you have to be grateful for. So thank you
Yes,
so much for having me.
Thank
thank
you. Thank you, ma'am. Happy Teachers
Thank you
Day.
happy
to
Yeah,
you,
Teachers
thanks
to
a
Day.
all
lot,
of you
ma'am,
as
for
well.
joining.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
thank you, Mukta ma'am. Thank you, Panna ma'am and Sumedha ma'am. Bye bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye,
Bye
bye,
bye.
lovely audience.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
dear
everyone, for joining
audience,
us.
for joining us today on this special occasion. It was really an inspiring launch of our first podcast episode, Role of Teachers Beyond Teaching. And thank you, everyone, once again. Happy Teachers Day.
Bye.
Bye bye, everyone. Happy Teachers Day once again.